daughter. Like I told you about my other friends out of Columbia. I told them you were coming over, and they're like, "Oh my God, Ashley K is her daughter's name." She's like, "Ashley K is so jealous she's not there tonight." But I think it's beautiful that young people are so accepting, and I think it's sad that others aren't. I mean,
Yeah.
and I don't know. Look, I understand that it's shocking is probably the wrong word, but you know what I mean?
Shocking is like one of the main things, because even like if I like do something like I go out of the house, I don't look like this every day.
Sure.
But when I do, I get looks. I have, little kids coming up to me asking why I look like that. Parents, I don't really get a negative reaction from parents when I go out. It's mainly just so he looks like that because he wants to.
Yeah.
And that always makes me smile. Then, of course, there'll be like the occasional like younger teenage boy who's like in high school who has like a derogatory comment to say. So I just laugh and like walk on because I don't know you.
Right. But I was that kid in high school. I've actually got a book today at publishing. I haven't gotten it in yet about, we called it Bully on the Bus, to where we used to make fun of two girls on the school bus, and they would cry every day. And I was finally able to find them and track them down. I'd forgotten their names. I just remember what we called them. And I was finally able to track them down and apologize. So I was that person. And as I've gotten older, and so much of it is because of my wife. She's taught me how to be selfless. Then I started volunteering with people, and just, I don't know why. I don't know why I changed. And it could just be getting more mature. I don't know, but just accept everybody. Like hate, I don't get, man. It really, what's going on right now in the country with race and politics, it breaks my heart. And I just don't understand it. I don't understand why there's so much hate for no reason. You're not hurting anybody.
No.
Do you? Right? I mean, I don't. And it's amazing. I mean, that's what we're saying downstairs is like, I knew, and I shared this with you downstairs, is when we were chatting today, I was like, I'm going to have to pay you to do my daughter and my wife's makeup, because they're huge fans. Like, my daughter watches James Charles all the time. And if you look at on his YouTube channel, I mean, he's getting millions of views a day. So obviously it's becoming more and more accepted. Mm-hmm. What's your experience been kind of small town with it?
I've had a couple experiences, because most of my following's like based in like Los Angeles or London. Sure. It's not really locals. I've had like 2 encounters now where people who've known who I was, and it was kind of weird. One day I was working, and she comes up to me. She's like, "I don't want to be that weird person, but are you Zach from Instagram?" I was like, "Yeah, that's me. It's nice to meet you." I gave her a hug and did that. And then when I worked at Hard Rock, had a girl come from West Virginia, and she knew who I was. And I was like, "I'm working. Nice to meet you. We can talk when I get home."
Oh, she came from West Virginia?
Her family was on vacation.
Okay, all right.
But she knew who I was when I was working, and like kind of like came up to me while I was working, so I stopped what I was doing. And then my manager was like, "What's going on?" I was like, "Well, she kind of knew who I was from Instagram." And my manager's like, "Oh, that's fine."
How have you grown your Instagram channel as large as it is?
It started around 2 years ago. I mean, I've been doing makeup for 2 years, but 4 years, but I haven't gotten into like the whole social media thing up until recently. About 2 years ago, I had to have a major surgery. And part of the downtime was like 6 weeks, can't really do anything. So I used that 6 weeks to consistently post, talk to people, try to do everything. And it kind of like build up over, I went from like 500, 1,000 to like 10,000 in less than a year. And then it's kind of just slowly grown to where I'm at right now. And I'm happy where I'm at right now. I want to do more. But if I could make this full time, then I would, but I can't sustain myself right now just doing it.
Have you gotten any sponsorship opportunities through Instagram? Oh, yeah. So what's that process? Because Randon Anderson from Empire
He's
Barbershop.
My neighbor.
Yeah. So is he really?
He's 2 doors down.
So I noticed you two were linked up on Instagram. And so he just got a sponsor, because he's got about the same amount of followers, and he just got a sponsorship deal. I'm fascinated by it, because like I want to do this forever. Like I want to be able to monetize this somehow. So talk to me about the sponsorships. How they like kind of, where was your where was your following at? Kind of when you started getting them, and what were those opportunities?
When I started getting following was probably around like 7,000. And a lot of times people think you need all these numbers to do all these sponsorships, and it's actually how you interact with the people who follow you.
Sure.
Brands look for interaction. So if you're friendly and talk constantly to your followers, they want to be more engageable with you. But my most major one, I got done with a brand called Dermablend.
Okay.
They're sold in Ulta and all that fun stuff. And I got to be a part of one of their foundation campaigns for YouTube and Instagram. And then I just did one with It Cosmetics. They're really popular for older women and everything in Ulta and Instagram. And I actually did a video on how to like make money and on Instagram and all that fun stuff. I joined several influencer platform agency type things. So I link all my socials. They give me like an account manager, and then whenever like a deal or something comes up that matches, they'll send the brand my information, and then they'll get back to me if they like it or not.
So they're like an influencer agency or management group. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, that makes sense. Because, see, that's what I always thought was you had to have huge followings. It was all about numbers. And obviously huge followings gets you there as well. But I started following a young lady who isn't what I would call a stereotypical like Instagram model, right? But she's real techie. And I found her, she was doing a Casey Neistat parody video. Visa's sending her all over the place. She's doing all, and she doesn't have she's got a huge following, but I mean, it's not Kardashian kind of following or Neistat following or whatever. But that's where I always thought you had to have massive followings. And look, 15, 16K, 20K. I mean, that's a huge following, but I mean, it's far from millions, which is where I thought you had to be. I was telling a story not too long ago. 10 years ago, before vlogging was a thing, I was with Vicky and we were in Gatlinburg, and I was like, what would be so awesome would be if you could get a company, a large corporation, like Pepsi, Coke, somebody, to sponsor your life and let you travel and video the experience. The concept was right. The approach was wrong. You had to go do it. Mm-hmm. Get the following, then the opportunities come.
That's what my roommate wants to do. Like, he sees my Instagram and YouTube stuff. I get all this stuff. Like, it seems like every day I'm getting a package from a company of product to try or to use or just to say thank you. But he follows several people on YouTube who do stuff for like video game companies. And the favorite one we like to watch, he's called Tim Tracker. He does Disney. And Disney actually just sponsored him and his girlfriend to like stay in Animal Kingdom for a video. And that's what my roommate wants to do.
Yeah.
But he's like, I just tell him you just got to do it.
You do.
I get that a lot through like my Instagram DMs and everything. Like people asking, what can I do? I want to do this, but I don't know if I'm ready. I was like, I wasn't ready. You just got to do it. They're like, well, I don't want to like sit in front of the camera. It's weird. I was like, it is weird. Right now, this is weird.
See, and like for me, I can do this, but like watching your videos where you're just looking directly at it, I can't do that. I can't vlog. I cannot do that stuff.
I don't vlog.
But like just talking to a camera, I can't do it. Like this here, it's just me and you talking. Mm-hmm. I don't even pay attention to that stuff over there. So I'm comfortable with that. But like I could not be a vlogger. Like I
don't do anything exciting to be a blogger.
Yeah, no, neither do I. But there's so many of them that don't. And my daughter watches someone. I want to say it used to be Savannah and Cole. Now it's like the LeBrant family or whatever. And that's all they do. They vlog everything. They've run into people coming to their house. Because I mean, you're fairly easy to find.
Are they the ones who like do the music videos with their daughter in the car?
I think they have. They just had a baby. They're gorgeous. I mean, they both could be supermodels,
mm-hmm. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. But I mean, same thing. It's 10, 12 million subscribers. And they're celebrities in their own right, making a fortune doing this. But they started, 7, 8 years ago and put in all the work. And for me, like even doing this is I have a hard time with the patience and waiting. Like, I want to go because I've got people that say they'll do it. I've got to go to them, but there's no money. So I'm spending 100% of this is funded out of my pocket. but at some point, maybe it turns into another opportunity. And I don't even want to do it for monetary reasons. It's just you have to have money to keep it going. I just want to be able to pay my bills and go meet new people. Like I've got a guy a young man in Minneapolis that said he'll do it. Florida, Alabama, a couple different people in North Carolina.
I'm going to Florida in October if you want to
We could go together.
I'm going to Disney.
Yeah, I said, I've never been, man. They want to go so bad. My wife wants to go, but I've never been. Daughter just started riding roller coasters and stuff this year, so I'm sure we'll end up going. But I just love it. I'm a big YouTube fan, but I think this conversation, I think there's a child out there that could love what you're doing, but they're ashamed. They're afraid they're going to be, parents won't accept them, whatever. And I mean, it's makeup. It's not.
It comes off at the end of the day.
That's all it is. I mean, it's nuts to me that people would be like that. But also where we live, it's fairly rural. It's not New York or LA or something like that. So I don't know. It's just sad to me that kids couldn't express themselves. Now with like cyberbullying and that type of stuff, whenever we were making fun of these two girls for no reason whatsoever, when they got off the bus, it was over with. Now there is no getting away from it. And we talked downstairs, how do you deal with the hate, the trolls online? Because I think that's very important for young people, is because, and I was sharing with you how emotional I get with it. How do you deal with the hate and the trolls?
Well, like I told you downstairs, I just laugh it off. Like, it doesn't affect me in any way. Yeah, it could hurt my feelings, some things people might say to me, but it's something I can't control. I always like to follow the quote that one of my favorite people, RuPaul, says, what other people think about you is none of your business.
Right.
It's not. And then I get that a lot with people who follow me asking about the hate and everything and how do I deal with it. And I was like, you just got to laugh it off. I mean, some days I might just be like in a really emotional mood and like, I haven't cried yet, but I have screamed into a pillow.
Okay.
Because I was just so frustrated. So I'm just like trying to live my life. And I'm like, I want to be like, I'm sorry, you were raised to hate someone. Because that's a lot of the things like, these days, parents, if they don't agree with something, the child,
right? Because that's the way that's the influence they've got. That's where they're at all the time. I was telling you the story downstairs about my daughter and the young man in her classroom, and I won't even tell her how proud I am of her because I don't want to influence her moving forward. She's going to be influenced at some point, so I want her to take as much time as it takes to realize that these kids are just kids. There's no hair color, skin color, nothing. It's just my friend. So it's sad. It really bothers me. But like in your situation, first thing I'd want to do is I would want to, if I'm getting hate on Instagram, I'd want to go see how many followers they got and then just screenshot my 20,000 and shoot it to them in a DM. So that's why I can't deal with it. Like I was reaching out to I listen to some motivational stuff constantly and one particular channel on YouTube that I love and he just put something out recently that hit me because it was kind of, you just got to jump, go do what you love, just go do it. And at that point, it really stuck with me. So I commented on his thing, and I was on the thread early, so he saw it, and it was, I really appreciate what you're doing. I've been consuming your content forever. I'm thinking about going mobile with my podcast. I'd love to have you do an episode. Somebody responds to that. Now, mind you, this is a motivational channel. The response that somebody puts on was, keep your day job. No, seriously. And I'm like, so then I just respond. I'm like, why don't you come do an episode with me? I'm sure you've got something encouraging to tell young people. And then the guy that I was originally, the channel owner responded with, hey, I'd be happy to. But I don't understand, because I was raised, if you don't have nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all. I don't understand going out of my way to put something on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, or whatever, throwing hate at somebody else. It makes no sense to me. I mean, there's not enough time in the day. I don't have time for that in my life. But it seems like that's just what they do. It's just bizarre to me that people would spend the time to say, you suck. have nothing to do with me. I mean,
I've had someone say that to me,
oh,
actually.
but that's what was so weird. Like this one, like that one comment. I mean, it was just, you suck. I was like, okay, I appreciate the feedback, but okay, how about something, some criticism that we could grow from? Because I've watched, like when I edit these things, the one I did with Randon, it was horrendous. I was like, it sucks so bad because I just kept talking, kind of like I am now, and talking and talking and talking, and wouldn't give him the opportunity. So when you said you had somebody, was it face to face, or was it in the comments, or something like, you suck?
It was just in the comments. And then, you know, I am that person. I don't want to say I'm a petty person. Okay, I'm a petty person. But, you know, you go over to someone's page and I don't want to think I'm better than anyone else, but, you know, I worked hard to where I am right now.
Sure.
And someone who probably doesn't even have like a fraction of what I have. I mean, I don't want to say anyone's opinion doesn't matter because, you know, I can always learn from a negative opinion. And, you know, just means I need to practice a little more.
Right.
If you think I suck, maybe I'll just practice more.
Right. Yeah. Well, exactly. That's what I'm doing. So we just keep learning, you know. They would say what it takes 10,000 hours to be a professional at something. And I was 6 podcasts in. we're far from being pro. You're learning every step of the way, whether it's audio, lights, cameras, all that kind of stuff. You're learning from it. With you and your channel, talk to people about, because I say it all the time, how much work goes into creating a 20-minute video. Because I think there's young people, my daughter, for example, that would think that I'm just going to be a YouTube star. No, that's the number one job. You talk to high school kids. They want to be a YouTuber. I think they see the fancy houses, the cars, all that kind of stuff, but they don't see the work that goes in. You know, and I know, and like, this is easy. I'm not having to write scripts. I mean, there's some people that just full out act and all that kind of stuff. Talk for a minute about the videos that you're making, and we'll link your channel as well. But talk about the videos you make and the time it takes to make that kind of stuff.
Well, I don't have a fancy house or a car. I will let the young people out there know. I don't have any of those. I drive a 1997 GMC Jimmy.
But it's a lot of work, right? It's not
is.
you just don't start a channel and like, oh, tomorrow I've got 500,000 subs.
My thought process is, which is kind of like why like I've been like on a small break from all of my Instagram and all that fun stuff. It's because I need to like get the creative juices flowing. So the first thing is I have to think of a concept. And then I had to think about what I want to do with that concept. And then I have to wash all my brushes and then, you know, make sure my memory card's good, camera's good, lighting. And then you do it and then you sit down, start filming. And then I can't tell you how many times I've had to re-record a 20-second intro just because I babble or I mess up on a word. And then I could do like a whole series of blooper videos, but nobody ever gets to see that. And it is hard work. There's like times where, you know, because I do get some sponsorships, but for like other things like reviews and everything, that's coming out of my pocket. There have been times where, you know, I've spent money for content, but, you know, I could have put gas in my car, groceries in the house. And I've done several videos where like I'm up to like 4, 5, 6 in the morning and I have to be at work in the morning at like 8 o'clock. And then when I get home, I want to take a nap, but I have to edit. And then I have to go into Photoshop and edit my photos, tweak it, make sure it looks nice, think of what a caption is, and then post it. And then once you post it, you know, you have to interact with all the people. It's a never ending process.
Yeah. It's a ton of work and it's not easy.
It's not.
No. And for channels that are posting almost daily, especially the vlogging blows me away. All the edits that go into it. And like, I follow a young man out of Las Vegas, actually used to live in Myrtle Beach. He used to play poker, still plays poker, but like his edits are beautiful. Cause now that I've started doing, that's what I pay attention to. the sound matches with the edits, and I mean, it's just the time lapses they do, and all that's involved is unreal. Again, this is easy. I could not do what you do. I could not look at a camera and do that, because I've tried. I've said here. Actually, we just put a video up today. I'm going to a trade show in 2 weeks, and I had to do. I'm giving away an iPad, so I had to do hey, click the link below to win the iPad. Zach, I bet I tried that 50 times. I couldn't do it. I would get all the way through it, and then I'd be like, oh my God, I said iPad Pro. Then I would do it again, and I would screw something up, and it's so difficult. Teleprompter helps. I don't know if you've got a teleprompter. No. Teleprompters help a ton, because then you can just read it, but oh man, I could not do it. So I have nothing but respect for these folks that do it all the time and put out gobs and gobs of content. So what's your plans for the future? You want to do makeup full time? I mean, because I think you should be doing, I'm not going to say old people, but my wife, you should be doing her makeup for $200.
My goals for the future, like, I want to leave Myrtle Beach. Like, that's, I've always had like bigger aspirations. Like, I want to like go to New York or California, where I know that there's a wider variety. See, there's one of those bloopers. I want to go to New York or California, where there's like a wider variety of people, because here in Myrtle Beach, there's not like a market for like influencers or anything of what I want to do.
Right.
As far as like doing makeup on other people, I mean, I wouldn't mind doing it, but, doing like my tutorials on my Instagram and stuff, showing people, tips and tricks and all that fun stuff, encouraging upcoming male influencers who might not think that they're good enough, or, they can't. That's what I want to do. It's not much so as doing makeup on other people.
So you want to turn Instagram, YouTube, and you want to be an influencer, and that be the livelihood. That's the ultimate goal. That's way better. Because now you're not listening to people.
I won't have to leave my house.
You everything's on your own terms at that point.
I want to be my own boss.
Yeah. That's all I've ever wanted to be since I was 14, and I finally made it. And I'm no longer my own boss at that respect. My 9 to 5. It's different, and I knew it would be. I told the people that acquired us that it was going to be challenging for me, because that's all I've ever wanted to do was make decisions, be my own boss. So this kind of scratches that itch a little bit for me. But it's still challenging. What's the and I'll probably use the wrong term, but what's the scene down here? You'd mentioned being a performer when you first came down. What's that? Because like I just met somebody the other day that didn't know what Pulse was. They had no idea, and I was like, "What? What do you mean? You drive past it every day. It says, I mean, so what's the scene like down here? Because I don't hear much. I mean, I'm not in the lifestyle, but I don't see or hear a ton about it. I mean, is it obviously you move into New York or Boston or where LA? I mean, there's way more acceptance and that type of stuff. But even down here, I mean, talk to me about your experience being a performer and that kind of stuff, because that seems pretty fun.
I mean, it was fun, and like I made some really nice connections with several people. It's small. Everybody basically knows everybody here in Myrtle Beach, especially in the LGBT community here. It was fun, It was something I wanted to do. I got to do it, and then I kind of just wanted to move on to bigger things. But I don't regret anything. I don't regret any of the people I met. I don't regret, sneaking out, because when I first started coming down to Myrtle Beach in the Pulse, I was still living at home. I was going to the movies.
Sure.
I'd pick up my friends and we go, and then I'd stay at their house and come back. And then once I moved, I was going out every weekend. Once I turned 21, I could start drinking, doing all this stuff. And then when I started performing around that time, shots, you get a shot, you get a shot.
Again, sounds like my wife.
And it was fun. I haven't been back to the club in a while, just because I prefer staying at home now. I guess that as you get older, you like
It comes
you
with
know
it.
what you like to do.
It comes with age, yeah.
I'm not 21 anymore. I'm about to turn 26 actually. I just like to stay home. I play video games. That's all I do. I work, do my Instagram, video games, and that's about it.
Well, all right, so I grew up, so I've never been a gamer. Whenever I was a child, it was, Gen 1 Atari. Nintendo, I was too old for that stuff. So I never got into games, but I do have a Fortnite hoodie. My daughter, my, my daughter made me get a Fortnite hoodie so we could match.
I honestly don't know what Fortnite is.
I don't know. I don't either. I just know it's a game. It's all the rage. There's some dance moves in it. But yeah, my kids got, I don't know, 2 hoodies, a t-shirt. I had to get a hoodie. But even that stuff's changed though, right? It's like the game's free. And then
but the stuff you want in the game, you have to pay money for.
Yeah, so you get them hooked to begin with, and then people just start buying and building. It's a brilliant idea. What kind of games do you play? I mean, is it?
I basically like RPGs, role playing games.
Okay.
I'm currently playing Final Fantasy 14. It's an MMO, so you play with like other people, and they have in this particular game they're called FCs or like guilds or a group of people you talk to each other, play with each other, all that fun stuff. And I actually found out that one of the like people who made the group, she had been following me on Instagram since I was at like 500 followers, and here I am looking like a cat person in this game, and she found who I was, and I was like, oh, small world. But that's all I do.
It's weird because you mentioned that. Like I was telling you about the young man I follow out of Las Vegas. I started when he had about 4,000 subscribers on YouTube, and now he's, I don't know, 30 to 40K, something like that. But you feel like I was with you since you had 500, right? I followed and did all that. How many do you get? A ton of kind of DM stuff. And how do you respond to all of it? Because it's a lot of work, even just the comments. But how do you respond to all the DMs that come in?
I don't get that many DMs. There are days where I go like on like commenting and liking sprees where I just go through certain hashtags, comment and like things that I've find interesting, and then I'll get like a DM or something from one of those people saying, "Oh my goodness, I can't believe you like noticed me," and I was like, thank you. I don't really see myself as this like big person. But I think with that, people see like a bigger number. So they think like I'm not James Charles. Someone said I was better than James Charles, and I always take that as a compliment.
Absolutely.
But the DMs like I mainly get are from smaller upcoming micro influencers who maybe have like 500 1,000 followers, asking me to like give them a shout out, or like the main thing I get is like advice. They ask for advice like, what type of camera do I need, what type of lighting do I need, what do you use to edit. I'm not afraid to tell people what I do, because I know there's people out there who like, oh, these are my secrets, I don't want to tell anybody. I just did a whole video on how I make money doing this, and that's with public information, but it's public information nobody would want to tell anybody else about.
Well, YouTube people are very tight-lipped. Like there's so many people that are making a fortune that want to act like the struggle's still real.
It's not.
No.
Not for you.
No. I mean,
you had to go to Walmart. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but I mean, and look, it's their private information. I get it, but there's plenty of people out there for all of us to have a piece of it. And look, you got to create your. See, like I've reached out to people that I've followed forever, saying, "Hey, I'd love for you to do my podcast." And the frustrating part is when you don't even get a response. Right. And I also know, and I just started my Instagram page recently, so I have absolutely nothing. But I'll find people that are following me. Like I'll get, you get a new notification, so-and-so's following you. So you look, right, view profile, and you're like, oh my God, this person's got 25,000 followers and they're following me and I've got, I don't know, 200 or 150 or whatever.
That actually happened recently. There's one YouTuber, she goes by Cat Sketch. She liked one of my photos and followed me, and she has almost 1 million on YouTube, and I've been watching her since I was like 16, 17. And then I saw that I was working. I kind of freaked out. And then I messaged her. I was like, thank you so much. If you want to, I'd love to like do like a collaboration video with you. And like we've been talking every day, not every day, but we've been in constant communication ever since. And I'm glad I can call her like one of my friends. So
yeah, I've got the only thing like that I've had was I reached out to a guy that I've been watching for years, on and off, just because hobbies change or whatever. And this is kind of an off-road four-wheeling kind of thing, and he's got I think 700 and some thousand subs. And I reached out to him just, hey, I just want to let you know I've been consuming your content forever. He's like, hey man, when you're in Alabama, let's catch up. I mean, so that kind of stuff is because I really appreciate that. And you don't know where you're going to be 5 years, 10 years down the road. And you always hope that you'll always respond to every one of them. But I mean, James Charles, he's getting 1,000 emails a day, 10,000 DMs and I mean, there's not enough time in the day.
And he's been only doing it for 3 years.
Yeah, no. I mean, so I started. So after I found your stuff, and it must have been ratings how I found your stuff. No, I remember exactly how I found you on Instagram. I searched the hashtag Myrtle Beach.
See, I only put that up there because I want local people to know who I am.
Yep, that's what happened. And that's how I found him. It was the same night. I just searched in hashtag Myrtle Beach because I wanted to find local people. It's way easier to get somebody local to come here than try to get somebody to drive from Charlotte, because that's not going to happen. And so I just started reaching out to folks that I thought were interested and had a good story. But yeah, whenever I found you, then my daughter watches James Charles. I started looking at stuff, and yeah, for like 2015 or something is when he started. And was he big on Instagram? I ask you like you would know. I mean, maybe hell, I don't know. But
I think he started off on Instagram and then he went into YouTube, but he's like most known for being CoverGirl's like first cover boy. That was like his big thing that really launched his career.
CoverGirl makeup.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, I mean, I don't know if you consume any like Gary Vaynerchuk stuff or yeah, exactly. He's a huge influencer. I mean, like massive influencer. He's got his own social media kind of marketing company, but I never saw the value in social media marketing. And I was listening to him tell a story about L'Oreal makeup and how they were spending, I want to say it was $750 million a year in print advertising. They were losing market share between 16 and 26-year-olds. I stopped the video, opened up another tab, type in makeup tutorial, and there's this stunning young lady that's got 3 million subscribers. Her videos have 10 million views or something. And then I was like, now I get it. L'Oreal could pay this young lady $500,000 a year, some more money than she would have ever made anywhere else, lock her in when she was coming up to a long-term contract, really take advantage of her growth, save a fortune, and hit the people that you're looking at. And that's when I realized that's how it makes it. So like you with your phone right now, I mean, whatever makeup you're using, they could tie you into a long-term contract, paying good money to where you could quit your day job, right?
That's the goal.
Right. But their payoff is on the back end when you don't have 20,000 Instagram followers. It's when you've got 500,000 and they're still paying you $20K money, right? And I think that's, and like you had mentioned, micro influencers or whatever the term was, I believe that's a huge opportunity. So how'd you get tied in with the kind of the management company? Did you just reach out to somebody? Did they reach out to you?
I actually had a friend on Instagram. Her name's Cotton, and that is her actual name, Cotton. And she has around like 100,000 on Instagram. And, I was talking to her one day. I was like, I really want to do this as my job. And, she gave me all these websites to like look up to like, I use these to make money. I use these to help, broaden my horizons, introduce myself, to like these brands. And so there will be days like where a lot of this times my sponsorships come from me reaching out to the brand, because since I want to do this full time, I take it as like a job interview. So I'll reach out, introduce them, give them my statistics, and then, I'd like to work with you one day. And most of the time you don't get an answer or you get like a no, but when you get that yes, you're like, okay, we can like work on this now. Um, and it wasn't up until recently where I just started getting paid sponsorships. Um, and it's been nice. I wish it was more consistent, but to be more consistent, you yourself has to be consistent, and I've not been the most consistent lately.
But I mean, 10 years ago, I didn't even think it was possible. Like I was saying, I thought you had to go get the sponsorship first, but it's fascinating to me. I'm excited because of the level. Again, I'm not, I mean, 15, 20K, wherever you're at right now is an unbelievable amount of followers. But just as it grows, then the more opportunities come in, and it's kind of just, it'll snowball, and it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's very encouraging sitting here with nothing whatsoever. We finally just passed 300 subs on YouTube. I mean, it was a huge milestone. My first video I did with my daughter, and we were talking about how many subscribers will we have next year. And I don't even remember what she said, 100, 200, 1,000. I don't even remember. But I mean, that's when you start out and everyone starts at zero. And I think that's what people forget is you started at zero.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody started at zero at some point. What about the collabs? We were watching a video today, and the only thing she had was a picture of you in it. It wasn't a collab, but it was a makeup thing. How many collabs have you done? Have you done a good bit?
The more collabs I've done are solely like based on Instagram, and it's basically two people will like, because people think collabs, you're like, oh, you're getting paid to do it. No, I think of it as a collaboration with another artist to like showcase each other's talent. So like, I'll find a person if I want to collab with, I'll reach out to them. Hey, I'd like to collab with you. Here's some ideas. And then we'll pick a theme and like, we'll do like something based on that theme. That's what I consider a collab. When there's money involved, I consider that a sponsorship.
Sure. Okay. So when you're saying collab but you'd mentioned another artist. So how do you do it on Instagram? Do you guys come up with a theme and you do your own makeup based on the theme and they do theirs based on the theme? And
then we'll basically just like share each other.
Yeah.
Like, since you can do like that little side scrolling thing for your pictures on Instagram, like I'll post my picture first and then I'll have it to where you can go to their picture. So I'll make sure to put in the description, make sure you swipe left, check out theirs, give them a follow, check them out. And basically it's like a cycle. So I help you, you help me, we help each other, we grow together, one big happy family.
Because on Instagram, in the challenge, you can't put any links, right? Mm-hmm. You get the one link in your bio.
You get the one link.
It makes it challenging.
And then, actually, if you have a business account on Instagram and you have over 10,000 followers, you can actually link stuff in your stories. So that's where if you see someone, they're like, swipe up, check it out. That's where that comes from.
Or you could probably pay for it too. Have you done any paid Instagram stuff?
I've not paid for any of my stuff to be like advertised.
So I did it today as a test. So the last podcast I did, I uploaded it this morning. It was a fire chief from Conway. And so I uploaded on Facebook, on my 2 Facebook channels. I uploaded on Instagram, and I decided I was going to do a sponsored ad or whatever. And I decided I would spend $50. And I forget how many people they said it would reach. Typically on my Instagram stuff, these will get 20 or 30 likes. There was over 300 this afternoon. So I could see where you could use that to build a channel. What I haven't figured out is how to convert the likes into followers. So what I've done is I've went through everyone that likes it. I started following them, because then it'll pop up and follow back or whatever. So, and I've converted a few of those, but I was really surprised. And I did the same sponsor using the same keywords and everything on the Facebook post. Instagram, 10 times the results than the Facebook stuff. So I'm pilling with that just to try to figure it out, to figure out what gets the return, especially for the book because we're going to give this book away. So I want to be able to. I've got 1,000 of them coming, so I want to be able to give them away. I don't want to get stuck with 997
Oh,
books. They're just all over the place. I'm handing them out to everybody that comes in to do one of these. But yeah, so I've been pilling with that stuff, trying to figure it out. But yeah, I haven't figured out how to convert yet. And then, I mean, I've even went to just finding people. I haven't had time to really do the commenting, and interacting with people. It's find something that we have things in common with, find the people that have liked it, just kind of start looking through their stuff a little bit. But that's something I need a lot of work because I never focused on it. I never Instagram. It was all about pictures, and wasn't a picture person, and so it didn't make sense for me. But now I think you gotta have all of it. Set up a Twitter account. I've never done Twitter before. I don't get it. I'm so old. But yeah, so I started doing that, and that makes it challenging when you throw out stuff out to the Twitterverse and you've got 25 followers. It can't go anywhere. But that's like one of the places. Like I had I used to, obviously, the poker table. We used to play a lot of poker, and I had a pro poker player start following me. So there again, it was like, oh my God, I can't believe Ms. Rocky's following me. And I don't even know how in the world he found. I don't know, but I've been trying to use it to get guests. Like I want someone that has attempted suicide and survived, because this is number 17. At least 4 of them, mental health has come up, and at least 3 of them, suicide has come up. So I want somebody that'll share their stories about suicide. And so I've put it out on Twitter. That's the only place I really know to put it out. I've tried Facebook and stuff, but that hasn't worked. Just hashtagging suicidal thoughts and whatever, and I've got to figure that because I know nothing. I mean, this is just trial by fire and trial by error, just try to figure this stuff out. But yeah, I'm just looking for people with any kind of encouraging stories for young people. People that are trying to figure out their way through life. And am I going to go to college? Do I need to go to college? Everybody tells me I need to go to college. I'm chasing my parents' dreams and not my dreams. And you go do whatever you want. I mean, at some point you're going to be doing this full time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing to me that we have these opportunities, and we wouldn't have had them 10 years ago. I mean, it would have just been, you do it as a hobby, and it's you got your regular 9 to 5 or whatever. Interesting. So when you hooked up with these managers and stuff like that, do they help you grow your following, or are they just looking for kind of collab and sponsorship opportunities?
It's more so they don't help me with my followers. It's more so for the sponsorships and the collabs. It's more so getting my name to these bigger people, so they would want to work with me once, and then hopefully they'll want to work with me in return. And I've had several of the ones I've done for people where they want to work with me again because they like what I did. So that kind of helps me in a way. And then, of course, for small influencers on Instagram, your goal is to be seen and be reposted on some of these big makeup pages, because it only takes that one post, that one time you get shared to where you can get, blown up. So I'm waiting on that one post. So come soon, please.
But that's crazy too, because I was talking to somebody about that the other day. It was probably after this. Was it Fire, the documentary that's out on Netflix right now about the Bahamas party, and a Kardashian was charging $250,000 for a tweet. Somebody tells me the other day that Selena Gomez charges $500,000 for a tweet. I've heard of other people charging $250,000 for a tweet. All it takes is one.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, one person could put you through the stratosphere, which is kind of frustrating that all it takes is that one person, especially if they know you exist and can do it, right? Because it's just like, there you go, enjoy the ride. But, but if they don't know, but then everybody would just need to be nonstop. Now there's no value to it because you're doing it, you're doing it for everybody. But we talk about that a lot, is that's all it takes is that one person to really change the trajectory of your career and your life. So on these other boards, do Is it from just because again I'm an idiot? Is it just the hashtags, or I mean, or is it people that are taking? Do they give you credit? I mean, if they take your image,
Mhm.
so they'll post it on their Instagram account, give you credit, and
So say I was to be like reposted from like a big makeup brand like Morphe or like Urban Decay. Um, the proper way to do it, they'll take my image and they'll tag me in the description, and then they'll use whatever they want because it's mainly like you use the stuff, they'll repost it, and then people will see it, and then hopefully they'll start following me. Um, I've had one larger makeup brand repost me, but the unfortunate thing was the owner of said brand was in the middle of a race scandal.
that's
So
not good.
no. So by them reposting me, I've gotten so many DMs and like messages from that particular thing for people saying that I am a racist because of it. And I didn't even know it was going on at the time that I was using it because I'm an ambassador for a brand called BoxyCharm, and they're a monthly subscription service. So they have like different products for each month, and that particular brand's palette was in it. So I have to use it because, I do make some money off of the
Right,
ambassadorship. So I used the product not because like I supported the person, but because it was part of my job.
right.
And then a lot of times people were like, you gave up your morals for money. And it's like, I didn't give up anything. I didn't know this scenario was happening until it got posted
It has
that
nothing to do
day.
with you. You
It
had
has
nothing to do with
nothing to
it.
do with me. It's makeup to me. I mean, I don't support people who condone racism or like homophobia because as a gay person myself, I don't want to put anyone else in that predicament. Because growing up, I was a very depressed person because, especially here in the middle of the Bible Belt, high school was really tough for me. There were days, I received death threats at school. I've told people I just needed to kill myself. Um, and like they're going back where you were talking about mental health. I struggle with that a lot. And I have thought about, you know, I'd probably just be better off. But I actually really glad that I didn't put any of those thoughts to action because I would have missed out on so many things I'm so proud of
Yeah.
today. Particularly with my mom, because I never thought my mom would have been proud of what I do now. And when she found out, one of the first things she wanted to do was take me to Ulta and like buy me something. So it helped us grow together.
Sure.
And, you know, it's just that hurdle. You just need to get over the hurdle.
Yeah, but even like that, it's I've ripped the Band-Aid off of things before to get over that hurdle, and and I have become closer to people. Um, the weight of the world's kind of lifted from my shoulders. And what started a lot of these conversations about mental health is I'm very open with some side effects I was having from medicine that gave me insane suicidal thoughts daily. I mean, nonstop. Um, and I knew what was going on. I knew I didn't want to die. I knew I wasn't depressed. I mean, I knew it was the medicine. And so I've shared because what I learned from that experience was when you have brain chemicals out of whack, you have no control.
Nope.
You're just along for the ride. And so then I started talking to a therapist, and then I've shared publicly the reasons like I chose a woman because then I felt I could be more honest. I'm a big burly guy. You're not supposed to show emotion to cry, so I felt I could be more honest with a woman. Even the fire chief last week, whenever I was talking to him, he came in and was talking about mental health, and because they had a line of duty death in their department, and so everybody's coming to the chief, to the leader, with how they're handling it, and so he was sharing that kind of stuff. I had no idea until I started talking to more people like this about how big mental health is. My mother's dealt with depression her whole life. And I've always been, Zach, suck it up, dude. It's life. It sucks for all of us until I had that experience. And without that experience, I probably would have never changed my way of thinking, which is another reason why I love talking to and meeting new people. Because I want to change, kind of the way I thought I had a conversation with a friend of mine at work about, the term white privilege and how it used to make me feel until he explained something to me and it completely changed the way I look at that. Now I get it. Before it was just you own a business because you're white. And when he explained to me that, when we started talking and I was like, my daughter, our neighborhood swimming pool's over here, and like my daughter could run through the backyards and there's no problems. His 14-year-old son could run through the back problems or through the backyard, and there could be problems, right? And not that he's going to cause problems, that the neighbors are causing the cops problems. And then I got it. So I love having just conversations. It's funny, Ashlyn will tell me, she's like, "Daddy, here you go again, just jibber jabbering." But I think that's how we grow, and that's how you get beyond this kind of stuff. Like, I was thinking, I was actually watched a video the other day with Boy George in it. And it was kind of reminiscent. It was nowhere near as open, and people weren't as accepting as they are today, right? So I think about like the hate that Boy George must have had and George Michael must have had back in the day, because they were good-looking guys that were wearing makeup and that kind of stuff, and now I'm not going to say it's accepted, because that's just, to me, that's naive.
It's more mainstream.
There, thank you. I'm an idiot, but yeah, but it's just, so what? What's the big deal? Somebody wants to do whatever they want to do. Who cares? How's it affecting you? How does you wearing makeup affect me?
It doesn't.
Right. And that's just kind of the way I look at things. But that's why, like, again, the hate and stuff, I don't understand why people even care. So I'm glad that it's kind of brought you and your mom closer. That's a pretty cool story. So high school and I'm assuming there was bullying going on as well. How'd you get through all that stuff?
It kind of helped. I had my best friend from high school through the whole thing. Because ninth grade, instead of going to my base school, I started at early college high school at Ori Georgetown, hoping it would bring me like all these opportunities. But basically, just having like a tight group of friends to talk to really helped. And, just thinking it out, thinking like, okay, sticks and stones, words don't hurt. They can, but you just gotta shake it off.
How long did thinking about killing yourself and stuff like that, how long did that last? Was it all through high school, or?
I'd say it wasn't all throughout high school. It's mainly through like my freshman and sophomore year, because once junior and senior year came in, like I didn't give a crap about what anyone said. There'd be times where, because I was going through that dark phase where eyeliner, black hair, skinny jeans. I had to have the gym teacher come up. "Oh, you're wearing makeup again today?" "Yep." "So?"
Right.
And it just, it's basically built up a thick skin, because now I don't care what anyone says to me. There's some days where I like to say, like, I woke up with a I don't give a fuck attitude, because I don't. I'm just going to go about my day. You can, say your little comment over here, but I'm over here doing what I need to get done, and you're just wasting your time. And yeah.
Well, I kind of think that was like in one of the first messages you asked me what I wanted to talk about. I think that was one of the things I said, is how just that it was. I don't know.
Fuck it.
Yeah. It was, but that's kind of how it was. Again, who cares? So the bullying stuff in high school, was it because of being gay? Is that where it came from? Was there other gay kids in the school that you're aware of?
Not really. Freshman year, it was like everybody would come up to me like, "I'm gay." I was like, "No, I'm not gay." And then sophomore year came out, and then here I am.
Did you come out in your sophomore year? Or to certain people, I'm guessing,
Just
maybe?
certain people. Like, my best friend knew. We both knew. It's funny. My best friend, um, we dated while we were in middle school, and then we actually came out to each other. So that's a fun story. But we talk. We've just been in communication ever since. I don't see myself. If there was one person I would want by my side, it would be my best friend from middle school. And not many people can say that because, as you drift away from people and like high school friends, like you kind of forget people. But this is one person always welcome at my house. My
Good.
mom calls them their child. Everybody is adopted, basically. And you just need that one person in your life, to get you through the day. Like, if there's something I need, I call. I mean, we don't talk as much as we used to do because we're both living our own lives. But when we do get up with each other, we pick up right off where we left.
It's amazing, isn't it? So that it's real, and yeah, I've got I've got a few friends like that it could be a year we don't talk, and you just pick up like you just seen each other the night before. When did you come out to your family?
The first person I actually went to and told was my cousin Timmy. And then because he had done it to me, he came out to me first. So I was like, okay, well, here's this information. And then my aunt, she knew. It's like everybody knows.
Right.
I was the kid going around the house putting a towel on my head saying, look at my beautiful hair. So everyone knew. And then as far as like my parents and everything knowing, basically I tried it once and it didn't go over really well. So I kind of just like put it on the back burner. It's like, well, if they want to know, they'll come to me and ask for, and then until that day happens, I'm fine with it. And then when my mom told me that there was nothing that I would do that would not make her love me any less, that's when like it really got real for me because, that was my biggest fear, was losing my mom.
Sure.
So to have that information now that I can do whatever I want, I could talk to her about whatever I want, and I'm not have to hide anything. That feels really good to me. The one person who I thought was going to have like a big problem with it was actually my older brother, because I have 3 brothers. There's 4 of us. And growing up, he was very anti-gay. He was one of the bullies, and he used to bully me, and all that stuff. And I told him, because his girlfriend at the time was like, you just need to tell him. So I told him, and then he's like, you're still my brother. And then since then, he's been more protective of me, I would say. Like, he asked if anyone's like giving me problems or anything. And I was like, I'm fine. I'm an adult now.
Take care of myself.
I can take care of myself.
And you've been doing it forever.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you've had to deal with this stuff for years.
Yep.
What advice, if there's young people that are in the closet, especially with family, is there any advice you would give them with coming out, not coming out? We were talking earlier about people afraid that their parents are going to disown them. I mean, do you rip the Band-Aid off? I mean, I guess it's different for everybody, but is there any advice that you would give anybody?
Come out when you want to, not when you think you have to. You have to be ready.
Makes sense.
Because it's a big thing. Because then I've known people who have been thrown out of their house who basically ended up homeless because of it. And I'm very blessed that I didn't have to go through that. But I'd say first, come out to your best friend. They're going to love you no matter what.
Sure.
And then if you have a cool aunt like mine, come out to her next.
Okay, just kind of work your way up the ladder.
Work your way up the ladder. And then when you're ready to like tell your parents or your grandparents, then do it. Wait till you're ready, because there was a time where, I was doing all my Instagram stuff and I really wanted my mom to know, and it was around Christmas time. And my aunt's like, well, do you want to tell her? I was like, well, I want to tell her, but it's Christmas. I don't want to be the person who ruined Christmas. And I didn't. I waited till I was ready. Well, till my little brother was ready, I guess, to kind of out me to my mom.
But even that though, I mean, that's a lot of stress to carry, especially for a young person that I want to do this, but I don't want to be the one that ruins Christmas. Have you ever run into any not hate, but and not just homophobes, but have you run into any discrimination? You know what I mean? I mean, have you ever thought you haven't got a job or anything like? And I'm not trying to call anybody out, but I mean, have you ever ran into that type of? Because it's easy when it's race, right? It's color of somebody's skin, it's whatever. But have you had an experience with any type of discrimination that you're aware of?
Not that I was aware of.
Yeah.
Every job I've had an interview for, I've gotten it.
Yeah. Which is what it should be, right? The best qualified person should get the job.
It wasn't necessarily discrimination against me, but I've had people fired because I wasn't going to tolerate it.
Yeah, it's as far as the way they were acting or okay, yeah.
Like, I don't need to come to work every day and hear someone call me a faggot behind the grill of McDonald's. So basically just talk to the manager. It's like, hey, this is what's going on. I want to continue working here, but it's making me really uncomfortable. And then basically they told the person they weren't going to tolerate that and they let them go.
As they should. So again, I'm an idiot. And I'm not in the lifestyle. So talk to me about words and labels and stuff like that. Like I was, well, and the reason I'm asking is because like I was sharing downstairs with my uncle, who was gay, and back then it would have been a transvestite, right? Is that even still a thing? I mean, and another thing I want to know is what's derogatory and what is not. So I'm assuming transvestite and tranny is the same thing, but tranny seems very derogatory to me.
It's a very derogatory term.
So I'm an idiot. So kind of talk about that for me if you don't mind. I mean, what's acceptable, what's not, what have people in the community owned as their own? Just anything like that you can share, because it's fascinating to me.
Well, I can only talk about things that I've been through.
Sure.
I know with like the whole tranny thing, that was like a big thing in the LGBT community, because there's shows like RuPaul's Drag Race, where, you know, it's a drag queen competition show. And one of the things was when they were like about to like announce a challenge or something, but like, you got she-male. One of the contestants was actually a trans woman and found that very offensive. So they done away with it. But things like tranny, I mean, obviously faggot and all of that stuff's like very derogatory. I don't really have much experience with derogatory terms.
Well, good.
I mean, I've only been, you know, called fag, like, you know, basically Fruit Loop, all that high school stuff. Yeah. So anything other than that, I don't really have experience in. Now, if we're talking like labels, like, you know, there's bears, otters, twinks, all that fun stuff, but that's not like derogatory.
Lay it on me, man.
Those are like...
I know, I think I know bear.
You would technically...
Would I be a bear?
You would be a bear.
It is now. All right, let's play a game here. So, what about twink? Isn't that someone that's very small stature and
fresh out of high school, 18 years old, no body hair, skinny, short shorts in the club?
Okay. Yeah, that's not me. I'm not short shorts. All right, so tell me about the rest of them, because I have no idea about it. I've never heard the term otter before, but I've definitely
otter
heard bear.
Is basically so you have bear, and then there would be otter. Basically, like shorter, not as big as a bear, less hairy. I mean, there's like a whole animal spectrum. I don't know why there's animal spectrums. And then you have, you know, like, I don't really like deal with any. I don't consider myself as like one of these. I don't consider myself in like one of these like little cliques.
Okay.
Like, I'm just me.
All right, let me ask you this then.
Okay.
Do you have a type?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, you don't have to go into. I just want to know if you have a type.
I have a type. I like them to be just taller than me.
Okay, because I mean, like, right? We all do. We all got stuff that we love about whoever, that we're attracted to. Cool, man.
Like I have a type, but I don't always go by the type. Like if you like me and I find something about you that I enjoy, then that can happen.
Yeah. Interesting. Oh my gosh, what else can we talk about? I just love learning about people. But and I didn't even think about it until you'd mentioned when we were talking. I was talking about my uncle, and we were talking about terms. Like, I could remember thinking that, like my uncle again. Now, I was probably 7. So, I mean, I've got the mindset of a 7-year-old, and it's just stuck with me. It's like, I could remember them saying that, I think his name, Gary, maybe? Uncle Gary. I don't even remember his name. But that my uncle was a transvestite, and I thought it was just a guy that wore makeup. I didn't even.
That's what I always thought that particular term was.
Yeah.
Was just a man who enjoyed dressing up in women's attire.
Yeah.
But that's not the same thing as a drag queen.
So what's the deal with the drag queen then? Because that's just a performer, right?
Mm-hmm. They don't live their lives as a woman. They just do it for fun, performing. I mean, some people start off as a drag queen and then find out later in their life that, it's not just a performance. This is who they are.
Right.
So it kind of like, drag is like an art form it's become more mainstream with like shows like RuPaul's Drag Race and all that. But sometimes it can help a person find out who they were. When I did it, I just did it for fun. To go out, make a few extra buck or two. This one time someone tipped me a 20. Got cookout that night. And then, I just like faded away from it because I did it. I tried it. I got it out of my system. And now I just wear makeup as a boy now.
But again, it's not all the time.
No. Especially with that, like, because dating's really hard, especially with someone like me who, wears the makeup because you run into I don't mind it as long as it's like not all the time, or, I get comments from people for like dating after everything's like, I'm not trying to date a woman. So I was like, well, I have a beard, so you're not, but that's okay. But again, it's back to their type, right? Mm-hmm. But it's the conversation, just like any other relationship is and even like tonight when we talked about you coming up here, you asked, should you wear makeup? And I suggested that you did, because I wanted it to be the experience. And we talk about, because again, I think there's young people that are dealing with some of this stuff that just hearing you speak about it in makeup, that I'm proud. I'm and again, to me, it's very courageous. I don't have a problem going out like this. I mean, I do get like looks, but it's like, I know I look nice.
That's what we were saying downstairs. I was like, I can't get over your eyes. It blows me away. Okay. Is there any other advice or anything you think of for a young person kind of growing up gay?
If there's something you want to do and like you're really passionate about it, and even if it like goes against what your like parents want you to do, just do it. You just got to do it. You got to do what makes you happy. And I know that can be difficult with you like young people like living at home and, rules and everything, and also the fear of everything. But you just got to do it. I mean, I was at home at like 3 a.m. Everyone's asleep. I'm in the bathroom going through all my mom's stuff, practicing and doing all this stuff, and then, leaving home, and then I can do it now. Once you leave home, you can do whatever you want.
Right.
You just gotta make it through that.
Yeah. Well, man, thank you so much for doing this.
Of course.
I really appreciate it. I know we've been working on this for a couple of weeks. I appreciate your time. It means a lot to me, and I was really, really looking forward to this one. So thank you so much.
I enjoyed it. Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Zach.